Let's talk about barrel aging and what happens when you age something in a wooden barrel. Now, I'm not just going to be talking about whiskey, I'm also talking about wine, I'm also talking about rum, I'm talking about gin, I'm talking about tequila. Any spirit or alcoholic beverage that you want to age in a barrel is going to have some similar changes to it. Let's start with the additives. So a couple things are going to be added to those spirits or that fermented beverage when it's aged in a barrel. Now, I'm not talking about what happens when you char it or anything like that. I'm talking the most basic. You take a barrel, you make it, and then you put something inside of it. A couple of different things are going to be added into that beverage. First one we're going to talk about is going to be a lignin. Lignin is just going to be basically a polymer that's inside of wood that's going to impart some specific flavors. You're also going to get some tannins, so this is where you get a lot of your mouthfeel from, but in wines, this is typically going to be seen as something that dries your mouth out a lot. And there are also going to be a couple other flavor compounds and chemicals that are going to be released from the wood, and depending on what you do to the wood is going to depend on which ones are going to present themselves. You can change what's going to come out of the wood by essentially just heating it up and changing the chemical compound of it. If you toast a barrel, you're going to get certain flavors, but then also if you char it, then you get that charcoal filtering, which is going to remove certain things from the whiskey. If you ever did that experiment back in like middle school or high school where you had to clean up some water, one of the things you can do is run it through a charcoal filter. That's essentially what's going to be happening with the barrel. The liquid is going to be going through that charcoal layer and then coming back out, so it's going to be getting cleaned up a little bit to make it a little bit more desirable. So we know that these containers are not actually going to be airtight, so one of the things that's also going to happen is going to be evaporation. And when things evaporate, you're either going to have the alcohol evaporate or you're going to have the water evaporate, depending on which one is going to either raise or lower the proof. You can really pay attention to this by just looking at what is the humidity and what is the heat, because you can either have high heat, low humidity, low humidity, and depending on the combination is going to depend on what's going to evaporate first. The last thing that we're going to talk about is going to be the coloration. So when whiskey comes off the still, it looks like this, but when it comes out of the barrel, it looks like this. And that's all going to be because of the barrel influence. Some places do allow you to color the whiskey, so I would pay attention to that if you're not super familiar with that. And just looking at other spirits, it's not always going to be this dark, and it might be much lighter, just depending on all their rules. There's a lot of really fun things that you can do with these barrels. You can season it, you can have something else in it, and then you can put the whiskey, the wine, or whatever back in here, and it's going to change the flavor profile. There's a lot of fun things that you can do with the barrel. So next time you find something interesting, I encourage you guys to look into it. Cheers.